The Duttons and their cowboys have many reasons to remember why they are battling so hard to keep the Yellowstone and their land in Paradise Valley. In Yellowstone, Season 5, Episode 6 Cigarettes, Whiskey, a Meadow, and You in the episode of Yellowstone from last week, Beth and Summer got into a vicious fight. Many of the Duttons mounted their horses at the conclusion of the episode and rode over to the gather to branch some cattle. The presentation this week takes a calm, contemplative approach to the cowboy way of life. The spring collection and branding of the calves generally goes down without a hitch, and Season 5 is still hitting the same few thematic beats, so there isn't any genuine drama or momentum building here. However, it's a likable enough episode of Yellowstone, a loving portrait of an important custom everyone is afraid to lose. The gathering, which gives Case the chance to spend time with his son and gives Reap the chance to have a sexual encounter when the sun is setting, takes up a large portion of the episode after spending the most of her previous years in various high-rises. It's good to see Beth Ray connect with nature. And the same is true for John, though he barely seems to spend any time actually governing. John's conversation with Emmett Walsh about how beautiful little moments are. As well written, you can feel the unseen ties that form among a group of individuals who are all sharing a profound sense of tranquility. The addition of a little tragedy among the serenity enhances the episode as well. Emmett passes away peacefully that night under the stars, the kind of passing that every cowboy hopes for Western aristocracy. Buck Taylor has made Emmett a pleasant presence on his few visits. When John returns to the ranch and breaks the awful news to Emmett's wife, while comforting her while she sobs, his obedient kindness results into inadvertent positive publicity that is later featured on the news when Jamie switches on his TV. But it also serves as a wonderful illustration of the reasons why John's method of operation genuinely appeals to people. He may be obstinate and essentially uninterested in politics, as evidenced by his refusal to even meet with POTUS in Helena, but on a personal level, he strikes me as kind and sympathetic. It's the same side of him that we witnessed when he consoled Monica at her newborn boy's funeral. The branding is also a time for romance, as evidenced by the wonderfully growing attraction between Ryan and Abby and another adorable scene in which Cole Hauser hysterically exclaims, "Say what?" after Beth refers to Reap as sensitive. Lionel has her own boyfriend, but there's also a little bit of a love triangle developing between John, Summer, and Lionel. Although I've made it apparent that I despise Summer as a character, this is still a pretty solid episode for her. She and Monica become a little closer after initially assisting Monica with potato peeling and later on a visit to the Dutton family graveyard. There is something to the idea that this place is sacred in its age and its enormity, and I appreciate Monica's reminder that her family owned the land before the Duttons. However, Monica's antiquity rent could have come from pretty much any character on this show. It doesn't stand for anything, explains Monica. It simply is. Summer responds, "I thought parts of it were lovely, and I thought parts of it were terribly devastating." When John subsequently inquires about her thoughts on the day's events, it's a short statement, but it conveys her moral dilemma much more effectively and earnestly than the malicious criticism and lectures of the previous episode. Summer has gained a deeper understanding of this culture thanks to her time on the ranch, but she still struggles to let go of the beliefs she's held her entire life. Even while I'd still prefer to see more of John learning from his purported environmental advisor and less of the opposite, it's a comfort that the show doesn't completely reject at this time. Our few looks at Jamie and Chief Rainwater in Cigarettes, Whiskey, a Meadow, and You are still largely out setting up developments for next week's mid-season finale in terms of the real ongoing plot of this season and beyond. Clearly, Sarah has her own motivations for sleeping with Jamie that go beyond simple infatuation, but she is honest about the most of them. If she can assist him in winning the governor's race, market equities will benefit by the end of the episode. They both appear to be on board with using dirty tricks to remove John from office. He appears fully committed to working with her in a mutually advantageous arrangement. The only thing that remains to be determined is if Sarah's affections for Jamie are sincere. Would her strategy to exact revenge on the Duttons apply to Jamie as well, or would it actually shield him? When John decided to visit the reservation a few episodes ago, it appeared as though their complicated rivalry would once again take center stage. However, it is still completely unresolved. The president's impending visit and his canine shooting wicked Secret Service, however, signal an acceleration of Angela Blue Thunder's political scheming. In her capacity as head of Native American Affairs, the POTUS intends to support Martin Kills Many, the character who recently criticized Rainwater's leadership. Given that, as Rainwater points out, Obama's visit to Standing Rock didn't deter him from taking significant action against the Dakota Access Pipeline, there is reason to be skeptical that the president's initiatives will actually improve living on the reserve, he continues somberly. Presidents don't see us even when they're standing in front of us. But Rainwater hasn't exactly been acting like a great leader lately. From the outside, all of his initiatives to benefit the tribes seem to benefit him at least as much as they appear to benefit the real reservation. Also, his agreement with market equities isn't coming through. Change may or may not be a good thing. One of the show's main questions is that, and there is a lot to lose, as this episode demonstrates during one tranquil day.